Kia ora Year 10, here's a short video explaining how to express ratio. A ratio compares the amounts of two quantities, and we write them like this. So that ratio we would read as 2 parts of something to 8 parts of something else. Now when we write ratios, the things in the 2 parts, or sometimes 3 parts, need to be the same unit. For example, if we're making up Ribena, we might say that we want 1 part of the concentrate with 10 parts of water. So we would write that as 1 to 10, but both of those things would have to be measured in millilitres or litres if you were making a great deal of Ribena. In the next video, we're going to talk about how we can work to find amounts from a ratio, but in this video all I want to talk about is how to express things as a ratio. So there are a couple of basic rules. This example is going to show you what those rules are. So suppose that Cafe Ice has asked you to start experimenting with some new ice cream flavours. You've got 4 to choose from: vanilla, coffee, chocolate and coconut. You're asked to write these recipes down as ratios so that someone else can come along and make them up. A mochaccino ice cream has got 1 litre of chocolate and 2 litres of coffee. So this is our simplest kind of ratio. We write this as 1 to 2. We're happy writing it like this because both of these numbers are whole numbers and there's no common factor. There's no way that I can divide a factor out of both of those numbers. The next new flavour, which I reckon sounds the best out of all of these, is Chococo. Chococo has 0.5 litres of chocolate and 1 litre of coconut. So we write this down, 0.5 to 1. But there's a problem with that. We've got both the units are the same, they're both litres, but 0.5 is a decimal. And so it's a bit harder to think about easily. What we want to do is to have it be in whole numbers. So if we double both of those, we'll get 1 litre of chocolate and 2 litres of coconut. So the nicer way to write that ratio is as 1 to 2 as well. And lastly, the vanilla coffee combo has 1.5 litres of vanilla to 3 litres of coffee. So we'd write this like this, 1.5 to 3. And again, we don't like the decimal in there, so we're going to multiply both of those by 2, and we'll write it as 3 to 6. Now, if I look at that one, we know that we don't like this one, but 3 to 6 is not the simplest way to write that ratio. So I still haven't quite finished. Look, 3 and 6 have got a common factor. We don't want to leave any common factors in our ratios. We want to write it in the simplest form. So we're going to divide the 3 and the 6 by the common factor of 3. Okay, so 3 divided by 3 will give me 1. 6 divided by 3 will give me 2. So again, we can write the vanilla coffee flavour as 1 to 2. Now, so if you look at these 3 new ice cream flavours, when we write out the recipes with the words, they all look a little bit different. But they all come back to having 1 part of one ice cream and 2 parts of the other. Okay, so that's how we write ratios in their simplest form. We're going to do some practice now. Right, here are just some wee notes. Okay, so again, the ratio needs to have whole numbers, not decimals. And we express the ratio in its simplest form. So another example of that, suppose we had 8 parts of something to 20 parts of something else. We can see that in here there's a common factor of 4. So we would divide both sides by 4, we'd get 2 to 5. Right, now finally some examples for you to try. So pause the video and have a go at these now in your book. Okay, for every horse that a vet sees, it sees 15 dogs. So horses and dogs are both animals. Right, so we have 1 horse for 15 dogs. Okay, and if we want to make it really clear what's what, we might write this horses to dogs. Right, we check 1 and 15 are both whole numbers and they don't have any common factors. Right, the next one, $45 for every $50. In this one, there's a common factor that you need to take out. The common factor is 5. So this we write as 9, 45 divided by 5, to 10. And we can put our dollar signs back in. Okay, so 9 to 10. Same idea with the next one. If we have 42 parts of one thing for every 21 parts of the second thing, we've got a common factor in there. Now, common factor in there is the whole 21. Whoopsie, I don't know what just happened there, never mind. Okay, so here's 42 and 21. I can divide both of those sides through by 21 and I get 2 to 1. Now let's just see what happens if you don't pick up the biggest common factor the first time. So suppose you notice there was a common factor of 7. Then you would write it as 6 to 3, right? Dividing each of those numbers by 7 would give us 6 to 3. But then when you take another look at this, you should pick up that there's still a common factor left in there of 3, and you divide through again, this time by 3, so you get to 2 to 1. So the correct answer here is 2 to 1. Okay, it's not 6 to 3, and it's not 42 to 21. Okay, a class has 20 Year 12 students and 8 Year 13 students. Write this as a ratio. Well, we can write that as 20 to 8. Again, we need to take out the common factor. The common factor is 4. We're going to get 5 to 2. Look at it again. Is there a common factor between 5 and 2? No, there's not. So we're done. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk about how to use these to work out amounts in the next video.